So you found the house you love, you put in an offer, and you got a contract. Yay! Now what? My name is Andy Elliott. I work with DeSelms Real Estate here in Williamson County, Tennessee, and we serve the Nashville area. Getting a contract on a house is exciting, but what comes next? I'm going to walk you through the contract process step by step, and the whole point of this video is to put your mind at ease. If you'd like to stay in touch, subscribe to my channel and hit the bell so you don't miss anything. Look for your buyer and seller guide free in the description box below. I figure there's two groups of people that are going to be interested in this video. The first group are those people that are just thinking about buying a home and they want to understand the contract process, and those that have submitted an offer, it's been accepted, they're under contract, and they want to know what to expect. I've included timestamps and chapter headings in the description box for those that want to jump ahead. But first, let me ask you this. What's the scariest part of buying a home for you? It's different for everybody, but what is it for you? Simply put, a contract is a document where the terms and conditions are agreed to by two parties. Everybody's working from the same playbook. And in a contract can be performance deadlines, dollar amounts, and contingencies. Performance deadline examples are lender letters, ordering insurance documents, ordering the appraisal, things like that. Anything that causes the loan process to move forward. The dollar amount usually boils down to the earnest money amount and the purchase price. Then there's contingencies. Contingencies are conditions that need to be satisfied. An unmet contingency can either stop the process or force one party or another to move forward with the contract. And literally you can make a contingency on anything. There was one contract in our office where the contingency was the seller's family pet dog remains with the house. And it did. Who's a good boy? This is for those of you that are just thinking about buying a house. When you initially put together an offer, you're going to go through step by step with your agent, if you have one, on everything that's expected of you and what you expect from the other party. When an offer is submitted, it's either accepted, rejected, or it's countered. If it's accepted, you move forward with the contract. If it's countered, you go back and forth until everybody agrees to terms and conditions. Again, you have a contract, moving forward, or it dies. That's it. That's it for 101 contract basics. We're moving forward to the meat of this thing. These days, most offers are submitted with a lender letter. And the reason this is so critical is this. When you talk to your lender, you're going to find out how much home you can buy, how much your down payment is, how much your closing costs are, and what your monthly amount is. You need to know these numbers going in. If you don't have a lender letter, go get that done. Besides, your chance of getting a contract without a lender letter are pretty close to zero these days. One of the first things you're going to do is write a check for earnest money. Earnest money is not a down payment for a loan. That is money that goes into an escrow account that when closing day comes, you'll be able to use those earnest money funds to close your loan. You'll get that money back. But earnest money is also used as an incentive to keep buyers engaged and on track. And here's what I mean. If you've cleared all your contingencies, and we'll get to all that in a minute, but there's nothing left to do but close your loan and get the house, and you decide you don't want the house and you bail, you lose your earnest money. Maybe more, but at least that. So now let's talk about contingencies and how they protect you from buying a house with problems you don't want, and how it also protects you from losing your earnest money. It's really important that you understand what a financial contingency is. What it means is this. If at any point during the process of going through buying a house, it's determined that you no longer qualify for a loan, you can terminate the contract and you get your earnest money back. The reason I bring that up is with the word furlough. We've heard that with the virus stuff going around. People are getting furloughed. They no longer qualify. They can terminate the contract and they get their earnest money back. Now, you can't recover the cost of inspections, but you do get that earnest money. Financial contingency. A home inspection is an important part of the process. It's optional, but it's strongly recommended. A home inspection is performed at the buyer's expense to find out if the home is in livable, acceptable condition relative to the buyer. An inspection will uncover minor defects as well as some major ones as well. Minor things are going to be sticky windows, leaky faucets, maybe a squeaky floor, stuff like that. That's all minor. The major stuff can be water intrusion, mold, leaky roofs, cracked foundations, all that kind of stuff. In the end, the buyer submits to the seller a list of things that they want to have them fix. And the seller can counter that list. For example, buyer wants items 1 through 8 taken care of, and the seller says, I won't do that, but I'll do 1 through 4. If you guys ultimately can negotiate back and forth and agree on a certain list, the contract contingency is met, satisfied, and it moves forward. If you can't come to an agreement, the deal dies and you get your earnest money back, but you do not recover the cost of your inspection. Keep in mind the HVAC, the roofing system, the water heater, septic tank maybe. Those items, if there's a problem, will only be noted by the inspector to have further investigation done. You can consider a home inspector sort of as a jack of all trades and a master of none, and that's not a shot. But if one of those other systems needs further investigation, you'll have to pay for that to be inspected further. But it's worth the money because you don't want an HVAC that's getting ready to die. So just be aware of that. The termite contingency, or wood destroying insects contingency, is pretty straightforward. Basically, you have your house inspected for termites or wood destroying insects, and if there's an infestation, the seller has to take care of that. Now, if there's damage done by termites or other stuff, and I've seen that, where the floor beams are weakened because they've been eaten through, if that happens, you can require that the seller get that repaired before you buy the home. If you guys can't come to an agreement on that, you're out of there and you take your earnest money with you. Oftentimes when you buy a house these days, it's in an HOA, a homeowner association. And that homeowner association has its own rules and guidelines for you to abide by when you live in their neighborhood. Make sure to include a contingency that allows you to review and approve the HOA rules and guidelines. Here's the reason. A client of mine, years past, wanted to get a property in a development kind of close to me, and she had cats. She reviewed the documents, and it was found that in this development, any pet outside was required to be on a leash, including cats. That wasn't going to work for her. We moved on, found another property. An appraisal is an opinion of value. Appraisers use comparable properties to attain that value number. Market value and appraised value are not the same thing. Let me explain. Sometimes sellers will have an appraisal done to help them determine the sale price for their home. Let's say that a house appraises for $650,000. Okay, good for them. But they put it on the market, and the best offer they can get, for whatever reason, is $625,000. That's what the buyers are saying. If that's the case, the seller can scream all day, the appraiser says it's worth $650,000, and the buyers are going to say, I'll give you $625,000. That's the market value versus the appraised value. Now, if you're getting a loan, they're going to require you, most times, to get an appraisal. And the reason is they're justifying the collateral they're going to have with you and that loan. If you're paying cash, you don't have to have an appraisal, and that's all fine. But if you have an appraisal contingency in place, here's the deal. If the appraisal comes in low, at least in Tennessee, there's 2 official things you can do. There's a third you can do, but 2 official. The first one is you waive the appraisal, pay the difference, close the contract. The second one is you terminate the contract. Those are the only official choices. Now, you can negotiate to the lower amount, and usually that's what happens. The seller will capitulate to that lower price on the appraisal, but it is absolutely not required. Appraisal contingency. If you're new to the home buying process, be sure to check out my video, Is It Hard to Buy a House? If you'd like to stay in touch, subscribe to my channel and hit the bell so you don't miss anything. Leave a comment and give me a like, will you? Talk to you soon.